now retired firefighter Robert Stevens.
Well, everything's been real serious and everything. Of course, I'm usually ones to try to lighten things up a little. I just got a story here that I'd like to share with y'all and for Pastor Benny here today. And it's got good in it and it's got evil in it. That's kind of the way life goes. A gentleman by the name of Gail Gardner wrote this story. He was from Arizona, lived up in a little spot called the Sierra Peaks. Anyway, way up high in the Sierra Peaks where the yellow jack pines grow tall, Buster Jiggs and Sandy Bob, they had a roundup camp last fall. They'd taken their horses and branding irons and maybe a dog or two, and they swore they'd brand all long-eared calves that come within their view. So any old doggy that flapped long ears and didn't shade up the day, well, he got his long ears whittled and his old hide scorched in a most artistic way. And one day, Sandy Bob, he throwed his branding iron down. He said, "I'm sick and tired smelling branding hair, and by Joe's, I'm going to town." Well, they saddled up, hit a lope, for it weren't no sigh of a ride, and them was the days that a buckaroo could oil up his insides. Well, they started out at the Kentucky Bar there at the head of the Whiskey Row. They wound her up the depot house some 40 drinks below. They sets them up, turns around, heads her the other way, and to tell you the God's forsaken truth, them boys got stewed that day. Well, now, as they was riding back to camp, packing a pretty good load, who should they spy but the devil himself? He was prancing down the middle of the road. He says, "Darn you ornery cowboy skunks, you better hunt your holes, 'cause I've rode up from hell's rim rock this together in your souls." Sandy Bob says, "Devil be darned. Those boys kind of tight, but you're not going to get no cowboy souls without one heck of a fight." So Sandy Bob, he punched a hole in his rope, he swung her straight and true. He lapped her onto the devil's horns, and he'd got his dallies too. Buster Jiggs, the Riata man, with his gut line rolled up neat, jerked her down, built him a loop, and roped up the devil's hind feet. Well, they stretched him out and tailed him down while the irons was getting hot. They cropped and swallow forked both of his ears, and then they branded him up a lot. Cleaned him up with some dehorning shears. Then before they rode off and left him necked to a big blackjack oak, they thought how funny it'd be to tie a knot in his tail just for a joke. So if you ever up high in the Sierra Peaks and you hear one hell of a wail, you know it's nothing but the devil squalling about that knot's been tied in his tail. That's a pretty good thing them old boys done. Or it is to me, ones of us that believe. But right here is a guy that stayed with us all these years. My hat's off to you today, Brother Benny.